I'm Scott Barnhill, and today I work as a senior solutions architect for Presidio, focusing on Splunk. However, I come from your side of the table. So a 30-year career in IT, most notably about 20 years running two SaaS platforms that were in hyper growth mode for the entire time that I was there. One in the medical billing and electronic health record space, and another in the legal document management space. And both of those platforms, we had hundreds of thousands of concurrent users. And so when I started, kind of hands-on engineer up through senior vice president leading the entire global operations, public, private cloud infrastructure, hybrid, and a mistake by somebody on my team would translate to 100,000 lawyers not able to do their jobs. And so time was of the essence, operational agility was of the essence, and the answer to that was data. The right data in the right form in front of the right eyes as fast as possible to make the decisions that we needed to operationally so we could go and fix whatever went sideways during that. So that's kind of my background as I come to it from more the practitioner perspective.
Yes.
But Quantum Health AI is a technology-driven company that, in our story is medical professionals upload data to this platform, some AI gears turn, and it produces results. So think of it as a data and analysis platform. Global in nature, multiple data centers, public, private cloud, lots of users, outcome driven, as well as responsiveness in nature. So that's kind of setting the stage for this hypothetical company that we've come up with. And today, this hypothetical company is experiencing problems. So we're going to kind of jump into the anatomy of a problem and kind of walk our way through it. Okay. So we're going to jump to our first dashboard. This is a dashboard. It's an operational dashboard. There's a lot of data that's in here. So let's dissect it a little bit. First thing that we did was we developed this concept of the health score in our platform. Health score is a combination of signals coming from all over the platform rolled up to a number. Why is this important? Because a number between 0 and 100 is digestible by anybody. 100 good, the further you get away from 100 bad. That is one of those top level indicators that you want. And it pulls signals from network, from storage, from cloud, from software, logs, responsiveness. We even pulled it from power strips in the data center. It's all pulled together and calculated up into the score. A little bit of simple math behind the scenes. But if that number moves, you know you got a problem. So that's our first primary alert. Our health score just moved. It went from 100 to 99.5. For us, anything below about 86, we were in 5-alarm fire. So it was a very sensitive movement. Next thing is slow minutes up here. How long have we been in this bad state? So let's talk about that. The graph down below there is a time chart that shows responsiveness of the application. The responsiveness is that purple line. The red line there is our target. Anything below the red line, and we're okay. But when the purple line breaches the red line, we're in bad territory. Our customers are frustrated. How do we know that our customers are frustrated? Because those red triangles there are correlations from our ServiceNow platform of every ticket that a customer is open and they're calling in. So now I have direct visibility. We call this the voice of the customer. So we can see it's a correlation. Does it help us solve the problem? No, but does it help us put context around it? So let's continue on. These things, by the way, in Splunk are called annotations. And they were one of my favorite things and most simplest things to do because this is where you could visually pull together massive amounts of data into something that you can just glance at and understand the outcome. So for example, the purple ones that sit back here, that is knowledge coming out of the network management platform. So we had a SaaS-based network management platform, but it could be DNA or SolarWinds or something. Every time our network management platform had an alert that went off to the network team, we shot that alert into Splunk. And so now I know what the alerts are. The alerts were port congestion or switch errors or kind of standard stuff you'd see down in the network world. Well, right here I can say, hey, this network problem right here did not impact my end user performance. It wasn't what I would call a governing incident. It happened. It was out there. The network team responded to it. But we know at a top level. So we're starting to correlate things that go bump in the night. How much of a bump did they make? And so by pulling in data from these other sources and annotating with these annotations over your primary objective, which is our performance graph. By the way, that performance graph is coming out of web server log files. It's the time taken field in an HTTP log file, how long the web server held onto the transaction. And now you can start to layer stuff over it. Down here, this table in the middle, it is the ticket information. So you can actually see who. So customer names are in there of who are you impacting, right? It puts the human face to it. Who is the customer? Which the call center that worked with us, they were in a different building across the parking lot. So my team never interacted with them. They were, let alone separate silos, they were on separate farms. And so pulling us together where we could hear and work with each other was really helpful. Now let's go down to this bottom swim lane down here. Same concept of health score, but instead of a number, we're rolling it up to a number behind the scene and putting it to a color indicator. And now you're starting to see down here data from ThousandEyes. We're simulating transactions into our environment. How are those simulated transactions going? Well, from here, we can see 2 of them have breached their performance characteristics. We also used AppDynamics. AppDynamics was our trace technology.
Tracing, yep.
In AppDynamics, something called business transactions. So that's looking at the algorithm, more to speak, and how the interactions of the code are. We can see that we've got a few areas there that's going on. Backend services, MySQL. Our virtualization stack, VMware. Well, we're seeing some VM health and some high CPU, but I can tell you right away, the problem's not the network. Because the key indicators for my network box down here are all green. So how many times do you start to say, in that war room, I got to pull everybody together? How long does it take you to get those people all on the phone? But with a dashboard like this, with the right intentional metrics bubbling up, you can make the decision to which silo you want to really engage with very quickly. So at our company, we had a goal. From first knowledge of incident to the right subject matter expert, 2 minutes or less. That was our target. That was the SLA or the SLO for my team. And at the end of every incident that impacted our platform, we'd ask a handful of questions. First of all, what data were we lacking to be better and faster? Do we need something different? Where does that data exist? How do I get it into the Splunk? And where does it fit into my display for the next time so we could be better? We went from 86% or 83% uptime to 99% and above in 6 months. We did not gut the technology. What we did was gutted the data and made better decisions. Started to react faster, cutting down the MTT star. Okay? So in my role with this, as Senior Vice President I wanted to turn and go be technical and go lead my team through that triage. That's what I'm best at, and that's one of my favorite things to do. But at the same time, all of my peers were coming and grabbing for me. Because why? They were customer facing. They wanted to know what's going on. Scott, just tell us what's going on. Just tell us what we need to know. So that developed into dashboards that speak to a different audience. So we start at a high level dashboard. Let's step way up. Let's go 20,000 feet above our platform. We have 3 compute pods around the world and a portal application. Where's our problem?
Goes east.
It's pretty clear, right? What data's in there? You've got the health score. You've got a little sprite that shows you that performance and how many people you're impacting. We have 512 users in that region. That's CEO level information. That's decision-making information, right? And so our health score was known, and we built a little dashboard. We had a little 65-inch TV on our CEO's wall, and he had some few scores that are up there. And that's all he needed to know. Why? Because there were some CIOs of some really big, powerful law firms, many of which in this city here, that had his number on speed dial. It's, what do I need to look at? There was data from all levels all over the place, and it wasn't structured in a way that made sense. So let's go on to the next dashboard. We're going to step down through, and we talked about data flow. Today's applications touch every layer of your stack. One mouse click, networks, servers, storage, software, all the way, all half-a-second response time. So this center, top swim lane, same information we've been looking at. Center swim lane, now we've started to group ourselves into the kind of the primary macro level layers of our stack. Edge networking coming in from the internet. I ran in a SaaS platform world, so that's kind of how this is delivered. Our front-end API servers, the things that field those requests and start your business logic. Microservices behind the scenes. Back-end data. underlying infrastructure that supports that layer. So sitting below your web servers, right? Web servers run on virtual machines with an operating system, and then it runs on VMware, which has servers that are connected to the network, right? We just ran all the way down the stack. Signals coming from all of that rolled up into a dot. Where do you think we should be rallying our problem right now based upon this data?
The CPU.
Gateways.
Should probably be looking over at that database team, right?
Yep.
Something's not right there. One dashboard was just a war room. So just real briefly, just to think about that, hey, how hard is this? So let's just zero in on this internet dot right here, right? I had a network monitoring platform. We knew where our network ports, we knew which switch ports, we knew which switches drove our circuits. I had dual 10 gigabit circuits with BGP failover and all kinds of stuff. We knew all that. We built alerts targeted for what we called our primary internet circuits out of a data center and shot those alerts into Splunk. So what's behind that green dot is, do I have any alerts coming out of the network management platform? Let's let the network people go do what they do best. But now I pulled it together, and now I've got network data with web server data, with other cloud service data, with database data, all in one screen. So the Splunking behind the scenes is not super difficult. It's all in the display.
Yep.
Okay. Now we pivoted up. Now let's pivot down into our subject matter experts. The next dashboard, every organization has a diagram that they draw that outlines your flow of your organization from data. It's some hybrid physical diagram and logical diagram. Back before COVID, when we all used to work together, it was the catalyst. We'd all scribble it out on the whiteboard, and it was how we ran a meeting, right, of talking about our infrastructures. Let's make that diagram a dashboard. Let's dive deeper. Let me shrink this down so we can get it all on the screen here. There we go. And so now we've got customer, more data on the edge network. We're tearing it apart a little bit more. We've got our API servers that reach out to databases. We've got underlying infrastructure on here from a different perspective. Some of it's the same data, top of rack switches. Where have we, the time charts are kind of saying, where have we gone over time during this problem? Have patterns changed, right? This is a high level dashboard to start to dissect the infrastructure. Green good, red bad. We haven't learned anything new from the last dashboard, a little bit more detail. We should probably be jumping into that database cluster. Now it's clickable. I've already got it pulled up. You just click on this database icon. And now let's tear apart the database layer. Now you have something that's custom to the way you're structured. Is everybody's going to have their own way that they deploy their servers and their database. This is just a 2-node SQL server with a NetApp storage array behind it. Now we're pulling some data from our storage controllers. We're seeing that the instrumentation of these red lines is the latency from servers reaching out to their backend storage. This could be Fiber Channel or iSCSI, some sort of SAN type of infrastructure. Things are coming in. The things calling it are seeing delays. So we know we got congestion in our database. We can see a pattern over here. Our IO latency has increased. IOPS volume stayed the same. Query latencies there. But we've seen a pattern. Our IO latency has increased. We know that. We can see it here. But one of the things I didn't talk about on the previous, let's jump silos, right? We've been zeroing in towards a database problem. This data will tell you, well, we might be looking at the storage infrastructure. That might be the governor behind this problem. But I would go and look at this yellow annotation right here. That yellow annotation, I skipped over it on the last couple dashboards. That's from our change management system. So that is, anytime we did it, we had a process. Anytime we were rigorous about change management. You start a change, you click start change. Record got pushed into Splunk about that change, that it happened. So now we have record of human interaction in one of my 11 data centers. Do you think there's a correlation between that human event and that curve? So this comes from a real world problem that I experienced. We took a 6-hour downtime from, that it took us 6 hours to find out that an engineer accidentally pushed code to production that wasn't ready to go and was interacting with a 1 billion+ row table without indexes on it. Nothing was broken in our infrastructure except that code. Every silo was reporting, I'm green. Storage team was reporting, I'm healthy, I'm working hard, but nothing's broken. It took us 6 hours to figure it out. And it was through some fleeting comment that somebody indicated that the new feature went out.
Yeah.
We'll bring it on home here. So in our little demo, I just issued, we'll call it a code, roll back the code. So that there's the change for the associated rollback on the code, and we'll start to see this thing turn green here in a moment as we come back to normal health. The idea of this was it took a long time to get people all communicating, to get that orchestra playing the same song in tune. And it was data like this. When we did this, it fundamentally changed a couple of things in the organization. First, in my team, we went from reactive defensive operations to proactive offensive operations. Everybody was always singing from the same sheet of music. Communication upwards to the people that were front facing was better. The IT organization, we were heard now. We weren't just a necessary evil, but we were a strategic advantage. The way we ran our platforms was a business advantage. And how do I know that? Was when the chief revenue officer came to me and said, Scott, you've solved our stability problems and you've changed the narrative in our sales cycles. You've taken the friction out of it. We are now focused on feature and functionality and what we can provide for our customers rather than their fear about coming with us because of stability. And so I think that changes everything, is when you can change the rhythm. It changed the hiring structure for my team. No longer was I hiring dozens of level 3 engineers. It actually flattened the curve for the number of people I needed to take care of 11 data centers and that big stack of equipment, because we could make decisions faster. We could transfer. I had to follow the sun approach. I had tier 1 operations in the US, the UK, and Australia. Handoff was seamless. Every one of our incidents, we happen to use Jira to track everything. If you're familiar with Jira, were filled with dashboard screenshots. We had hundreds of dashboards that would drill down different directions, all kind of wired together through central dashboards. And every incident, we'd have screenshots of dashboards showing point in time. So you could go and open any ticket from anything looking back years and literally see the chronological order of how we solved that issue and what the state of the system was like. Not at a metric level, but at an ecosystem level. And that changed everything for us. Jim, you can see we're heading back and we're green now. And so each dashboard should be starting to show our layers and our health of our ecosystem.